You've tuned in to Seraphic Sauce, and in this episode we get chatting with the Spud Queen herself, Shannon Dennis. Shannon is a DJ, producer, graphic designer and roast potato connoisseur from Nottingham, and we invited her on the show to talk all things music, nightlife and roast potatoes. Welcome to the first Seraphic Sauce podcast. I'm Abby.
I'm Tiff. And I'm Shannon.
Our first guest on our first episode. How did you get into DJing, Shannon?
How did I get into DJing? My best friend's dad was a DJ, and he used to DJ at like house parties and stuff for us growing up, and he played Afro beats and stuff like that, and I was like, oh, I want to try it. So randomly, I'm very erratic with hobbies and stuff, so I basically rang him and was like, can you give me a crash course? And in that crash course, I was trying to mix Toxic by Britney Spears and El Rad by Knife Party.
I feel like I've seen that video of you
Fucking
doing that.
awful. Tragic. I was trying to mix really, really, really hardcore EDM with pop from the 90s and noughties. That's what I was trying to do. And it was tragic. And then like kind of just kept going with it during COVID, really. Just got my, what were they? DDJ SB 2s? 200? 400? Something like that. In the garden. Little wheelie bin. Yeah. And then I mixed Walking with Elephants into every track I had on Serato. And then the neighbours got really fucking fuming because I kept rewinding it.
Oh, it's spinning it back.
Yeah. I was like, this is fucking shit. Yeah. That's that really.
At this point, the spuds had just gone in the oven and we went to the living room to talk more about how Shannon got into DJing.
We were talking earlier in the kitchen about how you got into DJing. Where was your first gig?
My first gig was technically at like a small club in St Ives, like the next village across from where I'm from. And it's actually kind of a funny story because obviously when you go into a club, the setup's usually record box and CDJs, right? So I didn't know this. So I've got my laptop and I'm running off Serato, but I haven't got the thing on Serato to allow me to plug into the decks. So what I was doing was I had Serato next to the decks. I had my USB that someone told me I had to run through Recordbox, which I had no idea what that meant. So I had my tunes on my USB, which were not in Recordbox format, with my Serato laptop next to me that wasn't plugged into anything. And then I was looking at the BPM on Serato of the track, loading the track in, mixing it by looking at the next tune, finding a tune in Serato, finding the BPM, moving the BPM thing. It was just chaos. And I played to a room of probably about 5 people, and Ruth was there to support me. And I don't know if I can say this, but she drank too many Jaeger bombs, and the night got cut short and I had to carry her home. So yeah, that was
a great first experience.
Yeah, it was a first good experience. Funny though, quite a funny story really, quite tragic. I've come quite far. When you look at it like that.
Where are you at now? Like, what do you do?
So now I play at Unit 13 and Paraiso. I think that's the only 2 residencies I have. And then I just kind of do like hit little bits here and there. Like I've been doing stuff with Groove Bolts. I played at Kaluna last week, which is kind of mad because I've been here 2 years, and when I moved here, I knew no one really, and then just kind of sent out. I told you when you first knew, like, how do I network? I was just like, I don't fucking know. So you just send out 50 emails, which is what I did.
Yeah.
Got 1 response from Jinseko, which then you played at after.
I did.
And yeah, they were the only people to say yeah. But I've kind of felt like the Beatles. You know when the Beatles got rejected that many times, and then the one person was like, yeah, we'll take you on. I was sending out so many emails, and I was just like, this is how Paul McCartney felt when he was doing this. No one wants me. Fuck. Yeah. And then I got Unit because I went for a graphic design job, because I applied for loads of jobs on Indeed one night, which I'm pretty sure I must have done when I was either that angry or pissed, because I can't remember doing it. And then they were like, do you want to come in for an interview? And I was like, yeah, fuck it, why not? And then, again, couldn't even remember applying for the job. So then when I was in the interview, they were like, do you know anything about the company? And in my head I'm going, I don't even know why I'm sat here. I just can't tell you why I applied. And told Dan Ellis was in the interview, told him that I was a DJ. and told them that I wanted to work part-time, and then they rang me when I was in Audi car park and said, do you want a slot warming up Saturday night, main room? And I fell on the floor and I cried like a little
in the car park.
bitch in the car park.
Nice.
Yeah. But before that, I mean, the most people I played to is probably about 50 max. I've probably only done about, oh God,
That's still a lot, though. The most people I've played to is 50.
I don't even know if it was 50. That might be over-exaggerating. I think I probably only did about 10 gigs before.
So did it happen quite quickly?
Yeah, I must have been at Jinseco for maybe 2 months. But that was playing like R&B, and I don't really play R&B. I mean, it was a bit of everything, but they were like, it was like a quite, I'd say it looked quite a market bar. But it was like high heels and dresses kind of vibe, you know, like really, really
Nice
pretty
cocktails.
girls, nice cocktails, and like quite a dressy place. And then they offered me that Saturday, and I was like, well, I've got a residency at Jinseco on a Saturday. And I went and did unit. Look at me now. I'm still here now. Still playing at unit.
So, out of all the places then that you've done, what's been the favourite set that you've done?
Oh my God. I know. I've played at a load of cool places, to be honest. But I would say at the moment, the thing that's coming to the front of my mind that is the most exciting thing that's happened is I got CO2 on my set, which has never happened to me before, because we were doing like a warehouse rave. So I was playing quite, I don't know what you can call it, like underground tech house almost, like borderline.
Yeah, not commercial house. A bit
Yeah.
more interesting.
Yeah, which is kind of more my sound anyway, like I prefer that. Yeah, and then Acton was like to me, he came over and he's like, God, you're making me nervous. And I was like, did the Lewis Acton just say I was making him nervous? So yeah, I got really, really, to be honest, I was very happy with that in itself.
Like the video of you just like...
I was like, yeah, they put the CO2. Because Lewis was like to me, act up, packed up. So I turned around and I was like, yeah, okay, what on earth? Yeah, panic room, woo, panic room. And then they set it up and I was literally just like, I was so gassed. So it was very exciting. And then the crowd must have been looking at me like, what the fuck? So I was just like so gassed up. But yeah, I'd say that's what's happened so far. That was a big moment.
Yeah.
There's definitely more, but I can't think. You've kind of put me on the spot. I do feel like I'm forgetting something, and when this comes out and someone's going to give me an absolute bollocking for not remembering, but sorry, Mom. Please still book me. Sorry, just a small disclaimer.
We'll like tag your email at the end. You can be like, this is my email address. Get in touch with me.
Call me on 0800 1066. Yeah, that's the Hastings Direct phone number. I've already posted.
How do you even remember that?
0800 00.
1066?
There you go.
Okay, for context, at this point in the episode, Shannon's spud meter went off. So we rushed to the oven to check, and lucky for us, they were ready. Ding!
Oh yeah, that's a good fucking spud.
We need to take a minute to appreciate the potatoes. Tell us how you made these potatoes, Shannon.
Well, the recipe's simple. First, get yourself an Irish father. No, I just peeled them. Well, Tiff peeled them. Abby chopped them. I boiled them. And then you ruffle them. And then I usually use any oil. I've never used coconut oil, but you put your oil in your roasting dish and put it in the oven so it's really, really hot. Take it out, spuds in, bang it in the oven, and the tip is to be patient. Because everyone's always like, why do my roasties not look like what they look like on TikTok? And it's like, because you've only put them in the oven for 5 minutes. They're a work of art.
But how, like, you didn't know how long you put yours in for?
Spud meter.
You literally... you were like, I'll know when they're ready.
Yeah.
You did, to be fair, and you timed it perfectly with the gravy as well.
The gravy was Tiff. I forgot about the gravy. Can't credit where credit's due. Unsung hero over there, gravy queen. But no, I don't know. I just have a feeling. Tiff was like, "How long do you put them in for?" And I was like, "When I think they're done." Just sitting here answering some questions, and I was like, "Spuds are ready."
You've either got it or you haven't.
Yeah. It's a born gift, really.
So, since you've been working in the industry, what have you found has like been your biggest challenge?
Ooh, believing in myself. I'd say it's quite a big thing for me. Like I struggle really bad with picking up on my faults and not looking at what I've achieved in the night. Like, I can play a set and make one mistake, and I'll come off and everyone will be like, oh my God, well done. And I'm like, shit set. Like, I'm really, really bad for it. But even when I'm in flow state, like, sometimes you'll look up there and I'm like having the time of my life. I'm still like stressed. I'm still like, fuck. But yeah, I would say that's probably what was the question?
Biggest challenge.
That's it.
You went on such
That's
a
my
tangent
biggest
as
challenge.
well.
No, sorry. I'm in a spud coma. Yeah, I'd say that's probably one of the biggest challenges that I face, is believing in myself and looking at how far I've come. Because I am the one person that will tell everybody else that to do that, and I am the last person that will do it.
As well. It's always that way around, though, isn't it?
Yeah, literally. Or like the best relationship advice will come from someone who's single.
Yeah.
How does that make sense? But no, yeah, I'm really bad for that. But I'm trying to be better, but I think it's hard. Especially when you're up there, like, on your own, you know, there's no one, like, your mistakes are mistakes that you're making in front of the best part of 800 people at sometimes. It's like, that's fucking scary.
You pick up on your mistakes so quickly as well, like, people don't even notice it sometimes, and you're like, I fucked that up, I fucked it, and then everyone's like, I don't even understand what you're talking about.
I think it's a hard thing as well, like, people will think that I'm quite down to earth with, like, I don't have an ego with DJing. And it's like, sometimes I kind of wish I did, because if I had that, I wouldn't sometimes feel how I feel with feeling shitty about one mistake that I've made, which is just dumb. Like, when it's like, how can you even be yourself at the moment? Like, look at your surroundings, like, look at the bigger picture of what you're doing. But yeah, I still tell myself that, and I still feel shitty sometimes when I make a mistake.
Where do you think it comes from, though? Is it like you've set a bar really high for yourself, or?
Yeah, I'd say so. I'd say I'm quite a perfectionist. But I can't actually tell. I don't think I've ever done a perfect set from start to finish, unless it's fully rehearsed beforehand, which then makes it kind of a shit set because you're not reading the room. It's just like, your mixing's great, but, you know, you're not paying attention to what's going on around you. But I've always kind of been like that. Like, I've always been quite hard on myself, but I have a really big work ethic. So it's like, I constantly keep myself checked in, I guess. And I don't let my head run away, like, being like, oh, I'm really good. Like, I'm always like wanting to learn more, and that's just always how I've been. So yeah, I don't know really where it's come from, but I just think I've always been like that, whether it's been with DJing or like school or everything, like, just naturally part of me, I guess. That sounds quite sad. I'm quite happy. Sounds really sad, now.
Yeah, like,
I've never seen someone have so much fun making roasties in my life.
yeah, to be fair.
I was honoured when you were like, do you want to help make them? I was like, and this sounds so snobby, but I was like, coming over, and I was like, oh my gosh, if they are getting the ones that are pre-made and you're just going to bang them in, I was like, don't do that. I'd rather make them bring them. Just have, and I was like, and then you were like, I think I've got everything, and I'm like watching you pull your stuff out your bag, and I'm like, go on. Go on. You've got the potatoes out, and I'm like, yeah!
Just smacks a bag of frozen roasters on the table.
Let's do it!
That would be jokes.
Oh my god, I wish we did make the whole 2 bags now, though, because I don't...
They're really good.
What did I say? Every single time I have to make way more than I think. Way more than I need to. Because we all just sit there and nibble on them after.
Do you think there's anything you've experienced that has hindered your growth or your career as a result of being a woman?
Yeah. The thing is, with being a girl in the industry, obviously there's a lot less females than male DJs. I think sometimes I can be a bit more, I don't know, scrutinised under pressure. I know the boys that I work with do get it, but sometimes I do feel like that. I do feel like, you know, the pressure's put on me a bit. But I don't know whether that's because I am an emotional person. So as soon as someone tells me that something's wrong, I'm like borderline crying, you know. And I've always been like that too. Like, my dad would like be like, don't put the spoons where the forks are, and I'm like, oh my god. Oh dear. So yeah, I do think that sometimes I can be probably put under a bit more scrutiny because I'm a girl, maybe. I can't really speak for other people on that. But
Do you feel like you have to work harder because you're a woman?
yeah. And I feel like I see it on TikTok an awful lot of like girls who DJ on live or videos of girls DJing, or the first comment, if the sync button's on, that's the first comment. It's like, oh, they're syncing. Or that was out slightly, that's the first comment. But like the boys, if you look at the boys DJing.
Flame emoji.
Yep.
Yeah.
Filling it with, oh my God. Or like I see girls posting and it's like, the tits or something, you know, like where like jumping around. Going back to your question there, like when I was saying about how I'm emotional and stuff like that, I think that the reason that I take to heart everything that's said to me is because I care so much. Yeah. Like, and I think that's something that's quite a lot. It's like, oh, I'm soft, or like, you know, she can't take criticism very well because she gets too emotional. And it's just like, I love what I do, and I love playing for who I play for, and I love the experiences that I've been able to have and the opportunities I've been able to have through that, and I'm forever grateful for it. And the reason that I get so emotional and so upset is because I care so much, not only for myself, but for the fact that I'm representing something else. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, just forgot about that bit. I'm trying my best not to be bitchy. Like, the industry can be very bitchy. It's very cliquey as well, I think. But that's natural. Like, every industry has that, you know. Everyone's like cliquey and stuff. But maybe, I don't know. I feel like once you're in, with especially what I've seen with Nottingham, it's like once you're in, and it's quite hard for new people to come through. So maybe I'd change more opportunities for newer DJs and like nights like that. But
I fully agree with that. You know when I mean, for context, if you don't know me, I like sing and write music and things like that. For years before I met anybody on the music scene, I was like, oh my God, like I'd love to do stuff like that. But I couldn't find anybody. I didn't know who to like reach out to. There was just no one. There was no doors whatsoever. And then as soon as I found that one in, it was like the whole world just completely opened up.
Yeah, for sure. Have you ever seen that like photo of the guy that's mining? It's like a guy it's like a theoretical kind of thing, like a quote thing. It's like a guy who's mining and he's like this far away from like diamonds this side, but you can see like the hole that he's had to dig at this point, and then he like stops and he turns around and he walks off. And it's like, you don't know how close you are, like keep going. But like, you're right, like it takes that one person. Like, I mean, everything that I have now is from that one interview for a graphic designer. Like,
I mean, that's like, if I didn't know you, I wouldn't be doing what I do. Probably.
And we know each other through you.
Yeah.
Whoa. So, full circle moment.
Literally.
Crazy.
So, will you tell us a bit more about what you do as a producer?
Well,
because that's a new venture, isn't it?
I started learning production. God, it's been quite a slow journey, to be honest. Maybe 2 years ago, I started fucking around on Logic. And only recently, I've been taking it seriously. Yeah, like, but I mean, I obviously mix house and disco and tech house, and now I'm on this avenue of making liquid drum and bass, which doesn't make any sense. But I've kind of started on a road where I'm not really sure where I'm going. I'm not really sure what genre I want to make. Like, and I've started singing on the tracks, which is a whole nother fucking ball game. You know, I've just started. Like, going back to when I said I'm emotional. Like, when I sit down in front of my computer, if I'm feeling a certain way, boom, just write the song. And then I'm like, okay, well, you know, like we were talking about how sometimes you wake up and you're feeling this one day as a creative, and then the next day you're feeling like this. So I'll write the song in, like, if I'm feeling it, an hour, and then I might produce it another day and then come back to it and produce it and stuff. So my goal was to release something by the end of this year, but I don't know if that's going to happen. I've got things written, but just not finished.
So I'm learning how to produce as well. I started like last year, and I'm getting okay, but like there was this period of time where I just, every time I sat down at my computer, I'd have an idea in my head, and I'd be like, I want to make that. And then I'd try and do that, and that would just, it was nowhere. Like, I was like, how can I not translate it from my brain to my computer? I was getting so pissed off. And then it just put me off doing it for ages. And then I spoke to this guy called Robin, who is a sound engineer. He's like notorious in Nottingham for the stuff that he does.
Yeah.
And he was like, so how's things going with the music? And I was explaining to him my situation. And he goes, you need to take your ego out of it. And I was like, Robin, what do you mean by that? Because I don't have no ego. Like, what do you mean? Like, I've just never ever classed myself as someone who has like a massive ego, especially around something like that. And he was like, no, you've got an ego around it. An idea has landed with you, and you're trying to force yourself and your version of like what that is into existence, when really as an artist you are just a channel. The idea is going to flow through you, and whatever comes out is going to come out, and you shouldn't try and like
I love that.
mold it,
Like,
so
bound
much.
it. Like, that's so cool.
And I swear to God, I sat down the next day. I was like, I'm gonna ignore anything that I think is in my brain, and I'm just gonna like feel it out and see what happens. I found it so easy to make stuff, and I made some of the best shit I think I've ever done.
Yeah, let's get it. That's so sick. I feel you though.
That's pretty good.
It's fucking hard.
Yeah.
It is fucking hard.
You
And
have to like find your sound as well.
I have more of a chance of finding Atlantis than finding my fucking sound right now. It's just call fucking Sherlock Holmes and help him find my sound, because fuck knows. But I feel you on that. I'm hoping that I'm turning a page like yours, because I too horrific with 1 minute being like the amount of times that Tom's come around and I'm like hunched over the computer. There's no lights on. I'm like, must get this fucking 808 sounding right. And I'm like going over and over and over, and I'm listening to the same thing over and over and again.
Yeah. That becomes pretty like mind-boggling. I mean, you're just sitting there listening to it over and over, and you're like,
It's like
I'm
Chinese
bored of
water
it.
torture.
Yeah, I'm bored of it. Like,
Yeah.
I want it off. I want out.
Literally. And then Tom's like, he comes up to me, and I think I scare the shit out of him at the minute, but he's like, he comes over to me and he goes, I think you need to walk away from it. And I'm like, I don't want to walk away from it. I need to get it right now, because this is what I want to do and I can't do it. And I just have this whole fucking meltdown, and then we'll go and do something else, and I'll come back to it and I'm like, fixed it. Like,
Should have had a break 10 hours.
But I'm just so like, I'm a sort of person, like, if I'm going to do something, a lot of the time I'll sit down and I'm not getting up until I've done it. Like, that's just the way of working. It's just
fixate
like,
on it.
yeah. It's called, what did my dad tell me it was called? It's like Swiss cheese method or something.
What?
Yeah, right, hear me out. So the Swiss cheese method of working is you're like the block of cheese, and you go through like in one of the holes, and you don't come out until you're at the other side.
Yeah.
You know, that's Swiss cheese. Yeah, that's me. But sometimes I can do it with different things, like websites. If I'm not feeling it, I know to walk away, because I've got the experience of being able to be like, I'll come back to it. But then with music, I'm like, what if this really good number one radio number one hit in my head isn't there tomorrow? Or what if Becky Hill isn't going to want to sing on my track tomorrow?
You do digital marketing.
I do digital marketing, yeah.
Do you prefer doing that over DJing or DJing over digital marketing?
Well, it depends what week you ask me.
This week, what's your favourite?
I haven't done any DJing yet this week, so
Digital marketing.
digital marketing, yeah.
Yeah.
I've kind of found my flow a bit with digital marketing this week. I've been getting a lot of it depends on if I get up on time, as to whether I have a good digital marketing day or I don't. If I wake up at say 9 o'clock, which is fucking rare for me, then I feel like in my head I'm like, I'm a 9 to 5 business female boss. Yeah, let's get it, right? And if I wake up at 12 o'clock, I'm like, I fucked the day, I'm a failure. Where's the job centre? Like, and there's no in between. Like, so it depends. I mean, I don't know what one I prefer, because I love them for different things. Like, the digital marketing, this is not really, I'm just very much like, oh my God, I'm airy-fairy and I don't know what the answer to your question is. But like, the digital marketing gives me like the complete freedom of visual creativity, which I have a lot of. I love doing that shit. Whereas musically, I have production and DJing. And with that, I also got the social side that I don't get with digital marketing, so I work on my own. Tom came home the other day at 4:00 and I went, oh my God. And I was so excited. And he's like, what is wrong with you? And I was like, you're the first person I've spoken to all day. It's 4 p.m. I was like, that is so fucking sad. But so true.
Yeah.
A lot of the time it's like that.
It sounds like there's a lot of balance there, though.
Yeah, it's good.
Because you go from, like, you know, being quite in solitude to having loads of people around you.
Yeah.
I think
nice.
it keeps you a bit grounded.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Because, holy mother of God, if I didn't have an actual job, that sounds really bad. I didn't mean that. If I didn't have like an office job or something that does ground me, I would just be non-stop partying.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Do you think it's possible to be a DJ and not party?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're not us. Yeah. The thing is, I think completely, yeah. But the temptation, it takes a lot of willpower to say no.
Yeah.
And it is very easy to get sucked into because it's fun.
Yeah.
You know?
And if you're like DJing all weekend, you haven't got the chance to go out and have a good time yourself.
Yeah.
So what do? You go out after.
Yeah.
And like
before you know it, it's Tuesday.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Fuck's sake. No, but I think it's definitely doable. God, but
it's so easy to get roped into though, and then like you're just done. Like so many people just get like done in by it, don't they?
Yeah, I think only recently I've been able to drive to a gig and feel confident DJing sober, and that's a very recent thing for me.
Good point.
Because before it was just like I'm completely fine playing at unit because if I don't wear my glasses, they all look like one person to me. It's just a mob of people.
It does happen when you're not wearing your glasses.
And it's just like, you know, you have a few drinks, you get into the groove, you feel like you're almost out yourself. Fine, chilling. When you're sober and you realise that, I think the main room capacity is 800. So you've got 1,600 eyes looking at you. You're all of a sudden like, holy fucking...
It's more than that, isn't it?
Holy fucking shit. I don't know. I'm sure it's 800. Well, it might be more. I don't know.
It's
more.
Pressure.
Yeah.
I feel like because I've performed before, but I feel like it's very different. It's a whole different thing, and I feel like when I'm singing, it's a lot less pressure because people... I feel like people perceive DJing as quite easy. They're just pressing buttons and pressing play and all of that.
So the
expectation is so high with DJing. When someone is singing on stage, it's like I could not be up there fucking doing that.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
No,
so then
damn right.
if you mess up, they're like, "Come on, you can do it."
It's a bit more like
it's so
understanding.
much more supportive.
I think now everyone DJs. I think TikTok as well has just made it out like all DJs ever have just downloaded TikTok, uploaded one video, and fuck me, they're viral. I think that's how they think that works. But a lot of like the kids who are DJing now, and it's like, even when you look at us now, compared to Carl Cox and all those DJs that have literally walked so we can run kind of thing, like they must look at this generation of DJs being like, what the fuck?
Like, what are they doing?
What are they doing? Like I read his book, and Carl Cox's and Paul Oakenfold's another one, and they said that they were like carrying record boxes through the mud and dropping them everywhere and all these like massive things. Like Paul Oakenfold was the first DJ who DJ'd at Glastonbury and got booed off pretty much because they were like, what the fuck? They put him in the middle of a rock set and he was like a house DJ. It was just like stuff like that. And then you look at now where it's like electronic and you can just press sync
you just take
and
USB,
fake it.
Stick it in.
Or like you get some DJs who pre-make their set and they'll stand up there on stage and they're not DJing. It's just pre-recorded.
Yeah, like pre-made remixes.
So how do, when people do that, how do the venues react? Like, are they just like, yeah, cool?
Well, it's just about money, isn't it? As long as you bring money in, they don't really care. A lot of places.
I honestly wouldn't know. I think it was a lot like festival seasons. Apparently, they do it quite a lot of festivals. Like big DJs, they just pre-record it. But it's like it's a question to be asked, really. Like, is it a bad thing because they are doing it? They're pre-making it, but albeit they're pre-making it in Logic, Ableton, whatever the fuck they're making it in, and then the performance side of it is the performance. Like, it's hard, I think, to have to concentrate and hit every note and make everything right and give this big blasé fucking hype up, stand on the deck, throw the fucking MIDI keyboard in the crowd kind of vibe, you know?
I don't know how you guys do it because I've been learning how to DJ.
Yeah.
I've done it like maybe 3 or 4 times, and I don't know how you do it so quickly. Like I've watched videos of people just being like, yeah, I'm just gonna change the song, walk away, do a dance, and come back, change the song. I stare at the deck for the entire song, trying to like make sure everything is right, and then almost run out of time of that song before I've even managed to like sync them all up and make sure that everything flows nicely.
You get there.
Yeah, and you learn to like do it from ear. Like you just learn to go like count the beats and bash it in.
You will get there.
Yeah.
Because that was also me. I was when Omar is the guy who originally taught me what I was talking about earlier, and he was like, put the first song in, and I'm like 3 minutes and 30. And it's counting down. And he goes, right, now load your second one in, put it in line. And I'm like standing over there being like, you mean to say that I have 3 minutes to choose a song, put the song in, work out the BPM. So, and I'm like, that is just completely impossible.
Yeah.
I was the same. Even like a 12-inch like mix of, say, Funky Town, I'm like, you mean to say I've got 12 minutes now to find the next song? It's just like, but it does, you just get quicker the more you do it. But it's patience.
You get used to it.
Yeah.
And then that ends up being the easiest part of the job, the mixing part. The hardest part is the, like, reading the crowd, going with the crowd, acting like you're having a great time all the time, like, making them happy.
That is a skill.
Yeah.
To not feel it and still look like you're feeling it.
Yeah.
And I think that's really fucking hard to do.
Yeah.
Have you ever been told off for not having a good time?
Have you seen me? No, I often look like the fucking squirrel from over the hedge. I get told off for having too much fun most of the time.
There have been many occasions where I've been told off for not having a good time. And I'm like, well, I'm not having a good time. Why would I act like you are? Because it's part of the job.
It's hard. I don't think I could do it. Not how I'm lying. I've done it before. But it was a lot. I suppose that for me, when I'm performing and I'm not feeling great, I almost step outside myself. I literally almost like zip my own body and brain off and just become something else for that moment.
Yeah, for sure. I think like I talk about like a switch, and like Dom's been standing behind me at unit before, and he's like, I just see something change in you, and I can't explain it, and I'm like, I also can't explain it, but I feel it, and something will just go, and I'm like, yeah, sober even, not even like the Jaeger bombs have kicked in and I'm like, fuck yeah, like no, like I can be sober and something just switches in my head and I'm like, I'm gonna fucking have this. But then sometimes I'll be waiting for that to happen, being like, that switch is gonna switch on in a minute, and this fucking hour and a half is feeling like 5 days, like. But yeah, I don't know, I also get kind of the same feeling, I guess.
Yeah, as well, like I think when you've got a good crowd, like you can feed off that so much. You got like a shit crowd.
It makes such a difference.
Yeah, it really does.
I did a gig in Blackpool, one of the biggest venues I think I've ever done, but the crowd was so flat. Like not just for like our set, but like throughout the whole thing, everyone was kind of just like tucked around the edges of the space, and it was just all a bit awkward.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable, isn't it?
It is. And I was watching other people perform, and I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna have to get up there in a minute. And like I had to work so hard to get people engaged.
On side and stuff.
It was weird, but you think people aren't having a good time when they behave like that. But then afterwards, so many people came over and they were like, that was incredible. And I was like, why didn't you look like it?
Yeah, like, why are you not having a good time if it was so good? It's like, it's so bad. It's so awkward. You're stood there like miserable. You don't know where to go. I trip over myself as well and I have a bad crowd. I'm like, I don't really know what to do. So then I fuck up everything. Like, everything's just shit. I play like the wrong tunes. I mix wrong because I'm like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, you get too in your head.
Yeah.
I do that as well. I'm like, tell me how this is possible. I've got a small USB device here with the best part of 5,000 songs on. And I go, I've got no music. What?
It's so true.
What? It's
so
like
true.
Paris Hilton going, I've got no clothes. Like, that's literally the same thing. Like, oh. I'm like, there's almost too much choice. And then it's like we were talking earlier, it was like, you look out into the crowd sometimes and like the clubs and knots, and it's just like, you having a good time? Yeah.
Yeah.
You? Yeah.
Yeah, like, and it's just like, But people stay, but they don't go. They stay there, but they just look unhappy, and you're just like,
I just want people to be lunatics.
you just want to get on the mic and go, are you actually having a good time?
Yeah.
Express yourself.
Get crazy.
Yeah.
Freshers.
It's a bit mad, isn't it?
Freshers usually are crazy. Best fucking crowd in the world. Freshers. This year, I struggled. Apart from the SU. The SU, there's always some crazy bastards that are like, yeah.
Oh yeah, they're great, aren't
Shirts off.
At the front
fucking
as well.
Swinging them, like swinging from the fucking light. No. That can be a bit fucking nuts. But yeah, I found the freshers crowd really flat this year. Don't know. COVID. I think we have to blame COVID. Because these kids have not gone out.
I don't know.
Last
Last year they were mental, and I think that's because they didn't go out during COVID. So that's why
Yeah,
they were
you're
so mental
right.
last year.
Yeah.
Because they were like, I've never seen so many people just like absolutely off their faces.
And this year everyone was fighting.
Yeah, this year everyone just scrapping.
This year would be the year that left schooling.
So they
In
would
the
have.
middle of the pandemic, right?
So yeah, they would have already been drinking. This year now, it was the year before that wouldn't have been drinking. They wouldn't have gone out basically.
I just feel like it's just fucked so many people up.
Yeah.
And like
People don't know how to dance or like
Acting.
communicate with each other in clubs.
big crowds and
Yeah.
I mean I must admit, like even now, I mean I don't like being in big crowds of people. I don't like being in the middle. I don't like people touching me.
Yeah.
I like my own space. And like if I was at warehouse project or whatever it is, unless I've got enough room to quite comfortably stand, I'm at the back. Like, and I'm more than happy to be at the back on my own. Like, I don't know. I just feel like there's still that bit in my head that's just like, I don't want people touching me.
I don't
One, I
get
get
the
really
obsession
sweaty.
though with everyone wanting to push to the front. Because what are you actually looking at from the back of someone's head? That's me because I'm too short to see anyway.
Can I ask your opinion on... there was this thing going around on Instagram recently about how... I can't remember who it was that said it, but they were creating this whole thing around not standing and looking at the DJ when you're in a space.
I think it was Defected, wasn't it, that did it?
I can't remember.
I think it was.
But they were like saying why, like they were trying to get people to change their behaviour and turn around and look at their friends
Yeah.
when they're in that space.
I would much prefer that.
But that's what it's like. There's a song, I can't remember who it's by, but I think it's called Provenance. It's like a house song, and that's like talking about how when house music first came about, everyone would go to the clubs, and it wouldn't be about who was on, it would just be about feeling the music, like getting fucked up basically and feeling the music. Now everyone's going to like DJ events and like raves and stuff because of who's on. Not
The
to just,
DJ
like,
used to be at the back of a room in a fucking box that no one even knew who the fuck it was. Like, and now it's like, again, I think a lot of it is like, this is why people have the egos and stuff that they do now, is it's like DJs are now performers, and it's like singing, obviously you want everyone to be looking at you. If everyone was fucking looking away from you when you were singing, you'd be like, hello, I'm over
Beyonce's on and
here.
everyone's just like,
Yeah, turning around, looking at your friends. No, fuck bitch, look at me.
How are you rating the potatoes?
I'm rating the roast potatoes a fucking 10 because I fucking made them.
Wow.
That's also a fucking 10.
And then so altogether it's just 10 out of 10.
Oh, it's a 20.
All
yeah, I
round
suppose.
20 out of 10.
Delicious.
That is some pretty good gravy, to be fair.
That gravy is the tits. It's definitely Tesco finest.
Oh, it's Tesco finest.
Yeah. You didn't fucking scamp out, you legend.
Well, I rate them a 10.
Yeah,
100%.
putting in a 10.
Hands down, some of the best
Well done,
roasts I've
Shannon.
ever had. Thank you so much for coming to speak to us, Shannon.
Of course.
And for feeding us your fucking incredible
Yeah,
roast
thanks for
potatoes.
making the roasties.
You can come anytime to do that.
Every Sunday at my house, you're more than welcome to come.
Oh my
for
god,
Spuds.
if you don't invite me for a Spud Sunday, I'm
Spud
going to be
Sunday.
fuming.
Spud Sunday, yeah, baby.
Okay, well, we love you and bye.
Peace.
Bye.
Love, Spud Sunday.
See you next time on Seraphic Sauce.